Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel, continuing the Swamp Thing read-along with Swamp Thing number 52. This is one of my favorite issues of the run for multiple reasons, and you're gonna see why. I've got a bit of a surprise during this video that I think you're really gonna enjoy. But for now, we'll get into this. This is part 2 of a 3-issue story arc. We went over the first part in last week's episode, so if you're not caught up, go back, watch that episode, read that issue. This way you know exactly what's going on here. The short version is that Abby has been arrested by the Gotham City Police for crimes against nature because her relationship with Swamp Thing has been made public after the release of some saucy photographs that she was not aware were taken. And Swamp Thing came home from solving the Crisis on Infinite Earths and solving the American Gothic storyline to discover she was arrested, and that's where we left off. We kick off with Stephen Brissett's great cover of Swamp Thing as a just mound of vines completely overtaking Arkham Asylum. We get a little cameo from the Joker and the Floronic Man on the cover, Two-Face. Can't quite tell who that is, but gives you an idea of what to expect in terms of this story. And it opens with Swamp Thing, like his consciousness racing across the country to get to Gotham City to find Abby. And that's going to be a visual motif throughout this issue of him moving through, traveling through the underground to get to these places. As he starts off in the swamps, and as he pushes through this green mass that he's being represented by, approaches a city, and you could see that the vegetation before he gets there is kind of sparse and thin, but as he gets closer and closer, it starts to overtake and become really full and lush, and it's covering the view of the city there. A little bit of foreshadowing, perhaps. And we get a fantastic spread page here where he continues to rush through, and we could see he's leaving the swamp, he's leaving the more rural or suburban areas, and he's entering this urban city because he's passing through these routes, and then he reaches pipes, and now he's underground in the city. He's going through some suburban areas, and everywhere he goes, he's leaving a trail of new crop growth and vegetation. There's this store here where they sell plants. He makes the plants grow like huge, and it blows out their windows. This is a really fun one where he's sending his consciousness through these dead trees, and they are re-poofing with leaves as he goes through them. This one is in the middle of the transformation, which is how you can tell that's what he's doing there. But yeah, he's coming through here, down here, through here, over across, and then boom, he bursts out from underneath this statue of a woodsman, a guy with an axe. Of course, we get our title card, Natural Consequences, written by Alan Moore, art by Veitch and Alfredo Alcala. Another terrific page highlighting Swamp Thing's consciousness moving through the city. We have him standing, and then we have all of the things that he's kind of seeing that are kind of converging to him. Gives us the sense that this is all branching out from him. So he passes by like the Gotham Stock Exchange, and we see a stock ticker, and we see Sunderland Corporation. We haven't heard the name Sunderland in a really long time, not since the beginning of the run. He hasn't had to deal with Sunderland because he killed Sunderland in issue 21, I think. Here he's looking at the towns around Gotham. We got another truck that says Sunderland on it. He sees kids playing in alleys, eating from the garbage. This is where the city breeds its rats, he says. And he senses someone else in the green up north towards Arkham Asylum, and he heads off towards it. Before he does that, just again, we have Swamp Thing standing here, and then in this bottom panel, we have the tree trunk, which kind of reads as his leg extending downward, and it terminates there, which is where he proceeds to move through to go seek out an Arkham Asylum North. So it's all connected. The connectivity of Swamp Thing is really important and really highlighted here through the artwork. Commissioner Gordon and Detective Bullock are meeting right now with this guy Dwight Wicker, he works for Sunderland. He works for the government, and he's trying to clean up the mess that was left behind at Sunderland when Sunderland was killed. He says, "I think that this creature that she is with is responsible for the murder." Another mid-bite panel for Bullock. We saw that in the last issue too. They really play up his grossness here. Gordon, isn't quite playing ball. He doesn't really see what the government has to do with any of this and why they're interested. But Sunderland is not Sunderland. Wicker is really going to kind of steamroll over this because he's got friends in high places. And then we transition to Arkham Asylum, and here we get another one of those instances of Swamp Thing flowing through the page, where we see this, bas relief kind of gargoyle or grotesque. We see Swamp Thing growing vegetation over it, and we follow that all down here, where he goes over there, through the window here, and he's giving us a little tour of Arkham Asylum. So he goes through this character. I'm not sure who that is. I'm blanking on it. It's a character that has a mannequin, but he goes through Two-Face. He avoids the Joker, and he finally finds, who he senses in the green, and it's Jason Woodrue, the Floronic Man. So he makes his appearance known. Woodrue freaks out. He thinks that Swamp Thing's there to punish him, to continue punishing him for how he used the green, how he used nature to punish humanity. And Swamp Thing tells him, "The wrath of nature is not wrong, nor is it unjust that man should bear its brunt. For anger, at least, I forgive you. The green forgives you. But you are the last that shall be forgiven this day, and a city awaits my judgment." So Swamp Thing, he just wanted to scope out who's in the green. Oh, it's just him. That's fine. I have to go back, find Abby. An excellent image of Swamp Thing, mostly in shadow. This is gorgeous. This is a gorgeous page. And then we have a very special page, and I really love this page. Do you know why I love this page of Abby showing up at the courthouse for her hearing? It's because I own this page. I won this in an auction sometime last year, and it's one of my most prized possessions. I really love it. I had it hanging on my wall for a while, but I have it right now. It's just saved in a archival portfolio, and this is a really neat thing to kind of look at, to compare just side by side how things look from this stage to the finished process. Obviously, seeing how the color gets added really changes things. The redness of the rose really stands out more. But you also get to see little quirks in the creative process. So, up here you could see that they had to do a paste up over this text. I guess they maybe spelled something wrong. Maybe they forgot the quotation mark. Over here, there's a paste up on the S for miss. So maybe they had put misses there by mistake, or just who knows. I also find it interesting that a lot of these lines are not black. This is brown ink, or brownish red ink for the car door. The backgrounds are kind of brownish red ink. The backgrounds here, it's a lot of the background stuff, as well as some of the irising on this panel as well. You also get to kind of see what you lose in the size difference. So for here, you could see a lot of space and white in this circle here, but on this side, a lot of it kind of gets faded out and just kind of muddied in. You see some, but not nearly as much as you see up here. And the same thing goes for this bottom panel. It's pretty much entirely black around this rose, but if you look at it, there's a lot of white space left over. There's also a significant whiteout on her hair, if you could see it there. So I guess the roots, when Alcala went in there with the inks, he messed it up and had to white it out and go over it again. So really neat. I hope you guys like seeing this. I wish I had more original art for you to look at, but yeah, let's get back to the actual issue. So yeah, like I said, she's showing up for her court date, and oh, you know what? Someone hands her a rose as she's getting out of the car, and she hears her name kind of coming from the rose, and she recognizes that it's Alec, and so now he's got a read on her, and he's hauling ass to the courtroom, and more of him traveling through the city. Uh, the judge is trying to get her to kind of take part and like acknowledge, like he's asking her to confirm her real name because she said her name was Abigail Holland, but her license is Abigail Cable. So what is it? But she's not responding. She's saying is like, oh, he's so angry. I've never felt him like this, so fierce and strong. He's coming this way, and she's got panic in her eyes. And the court is like, what, did she pass like the psych test? Like, is she crazy? Like, what is this? And I said, no, she passed. We don't know what's going on, but she keeps talking to this rose. And she's laughing. She's, oh, you want me to? Oh, I see. Haha. Oh, Alec, that would be so funny. There, it's done. Is that okay? And she puts the rose on the ground. And judge tells her she's close to being held in contempt of court. She says, contempt? Yes, I think that's the word, contempt. See, you brought all this on yourselves. You understand that. I mean, you just couldn't leave it be. You couldn't leave us alone. And now it's too late. Now you're in trouble. And from the rose, Swamp Thing bursts into the courtroom in this excellent, amazing splash page of him exploding in roses through the floorboards. Amazing, like manic face. So great. And I love this look where the people in the courtroom are so horrified, stunned, but she's looking at him just with complete love in her eyes. She says, my love. He's got all the roses in his throughout his body, but he's also covered in thorns because that's every rose has its thorn. So he's pissed off. He's here for the love of his life to rescue her, and he just looks so terrifying because he's got these sharp edges all around him. These cops try to get him to stop. They say, we're warning you. And he says, warning me? He grabs this guy by the throat and flings him, traps everybody in vegetation. He tells them, you have taken that which I love away from me. I have come to reclaim it. They threaten to shoot him, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, fire away. That's your solution to everything. You can shoot the animals in the forest, but you cannot shoot the forest. But Abby steps in. She says, don't make them fire because there's innocent people in here. They might get hit in the crossfire. They're not going to let me leave. So Swamp Thing tells them, very well, I have tolerated your species for long enough. Your cruelty and your greed and your insufferable arrogance. You blight the soil and poison the rivers. You raise the vegetation till you cannot even feed your own kind. And then you boast of man's triumph over nature. Fools, if nature were to shrug or raise an eyebrow, then you should all be gone. I want my wife. You have 1 hour. And with that, he leaves. I love the thorny look. It's so cool. Heads out of there. Leaves more vegetation behind him. Meanwhile, back at the I don't know where they are, police headquarters, this Wicker guy has called in Lex Luthor because now Swamp Thing has made an appearance. They know where they can find him. They just have to figure out, how do we kill him? He is an indestructible being. Who knows more about killing an indestructible being than Lex Luthor? Swamp Thing back in the city proper. It's been an hour. They haven't relinquished Abby back to him. So he sends, himself back down to the green, takes root, and then we get his punishment for Gotham, where he just makes it completely overgrown. Nature completely retakes the city. Cars are stopped in their place. Everything is just completely blocked off by the green. Children are the first to embrace it. They go out, they play, they pick fruit. They're having a great time. By dusk, it says, deep in the October cold, the first few converts remove their clothes and go naked amongst the hanging gardens of Gotham. Really quick, like these people were like, "Oh, sweet, new Garden of Eden just dropped. Let's go hit it up." Um, and we get a pull-out view from the center of the garden. We go further and further out. We see how overrun the city is with the green, and then we get the cape of Batman, because this is his city, and he's gonna have to step in. What the hell is he gonna do? He's Batman. Swamp Thing is a god. He's a freaking whatever. Good for him. Good for Batman for trying. Next up, the Garden of Earthly Delights. There's also a note here that because of Alan Moore's busy schedule, he's working on this, Watchmen, and Miracle Man. He doesn't have time to write an annual this year, so that's why there's no second annual written by Alan Moore. He only has the one during his run. But yeah, there you go. That is Swamp Thing number 52. This has always been one of my favorite issues in the run, even before I got original art for it, because I love just how angry Swamp Thing gets in the trying to rescue Abby. He's just so furious that she was taken and imprisoned wrongly. I just think it's fantastic, and it's one of the things that solidified why I love them as a couple so much. Let me know your thoughts about this issue in the comments below. Let me know if I missed anything. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.